Ever been curious about hypnosis? And maybe you think it's for you, but it feels kind of mysterious? Well, you're in luck. Hey, beautiful human, it's me, Rebecca Wiener McGregor, the Anxiety Eraser, and welcome to another episode of Effective Immediately, the show where we talk mindset, healthy emotions, abundance, and leadership, and I give you a mindset shift that you can use effective immediately. Okay, as you may or may not know, I am in my 20th year as a hypnotist. I'm celebrating this month as my 20th year of being a hypnotist. And so over these next few episodes, I'm going to share some stories from the vault. I'm going to share some of my success stories. I'm going to share some of the most powerful things that I have learned about the subconscious mind and how it connects to everything that you want in life and those sneaky little ways that it holds you back. And I'm going to be sharing just some little nuggets, little behind the scenes stories. So shall we dive in? Okay, the first thing that I want to share with you is 20 years ago, a friend of mine, I won't give you the whole story because you've probably heard it elsewhere. Maybe I'll share it next time, but a friend of mine suggested that I learn hypnosis. My background is in psychology. My undergrad and graduate work was in psychology and health psychology. And he said to me one day, I think you could help a lot of people with hypnosis. And he was right. Since that time, I've worked with almost 3,000 clients and students in my programs, and I have felt the ripple effect. Okay, so I'm going to share with you my very first success story. When I went to hypnosis training, I discovered that I had been dealing with a lot of feelings I had been hiding from my life. I kind of knew it, but I kind of also thought that maybe this is just the way life is. Maybe this is just the way it's going to be for me, where I'm going to be just a little nervous all the time, or maybe just a little bit more than a little bit nervous most of the time. And it's going to be hard for me to go places without another person with me. I'm not really going to want to branch out and do a lot of things in my life. This is just the way it's going to be. And I'm going to stay stuck in this relationship that is not really serving me. It's not bringing me tons of joy. And I'm really just hiding in this relationship because I'm scared of committing to someone who could really be my partner. At the time, my fuse was about this long. And for those of you listening, it was about 1 centimeter or less. And I was frustrated. I was unhappy. I was not taking responsibility for my place in life. The behaviors that I was having, the emotions that I was having, and the ways that I was operating, I was not taking responsibility for any of it. I was kind of in the blame game. I blamed my bosses that I didn't like my job. I blamed, the world that I didn't have a great partner. And I felt very insecure about my future and my finances and my love life and a whole bunch of stuff. And all of that insecurity made me angry and grumpy. And while I felt like maybe I was a happy person inside, somewhere deep inside, I wasn't actually feeling very happy. So I went to hypnosis training, and part of the thing with hypnosis, just like any other profession where you work with people in the medical profession or the helping fields, you practice. You practice sessions with your classmates. You practice techniques with your classmates. And one of the things that happened during that time is I recognized how much fear I was living in. And I recognized how much anger I was carrying. And during the time of my training, I was able to peel back the layers of the anxiety I was carrying. I didn't even know it was called anxiety. I was dealing with social anxiety at the time. I didn't even know how angry I was until I stopped feeling so damn angry. And I peeled back the layers with my classmates. We helped each other peel back the layers of these fears, these anxieties, these ways that I was hiding, these ways that I was angry and frustrated. And I set myself free. And I can still feel the feeling. We didn't even take photos of our class or anything because it was 20 years ago, so that really wasn't a thing. Nobody was taking selfies at that time, or at least not in my class. But I remember distinctly feeling free when I left. I was excited about my future for the first time in a very long time. And I wanted everyone to experience the power of hypnosis. I wanted everyone to feel the healing power of hypnosis. So immediately I ran home and saw my family. I remember feeling so powerful, so light, so open-hearted. And I thought everybody would sign up for this immediately because of how amazing I felt. And I decided right then and there that helping people heal with hypnosis was going to be my future. And I thought that the only thing that I would get out of this is that I would become a hypnotist and I would start helping people. But I did not realize the ripple effect that peeling back all those layers of anxiety and anger that I was carrying would have on my own life. I was so excited to help other people because that was my way. I had just enough trauma in my life that I was overgiving, overdoing, people-pleasing, and all I could think about was how I would help other people with hypnosis. I didn't even realize that peeling back all of those layers was helping me find my self-worth, was helping me find my confidence, was helping me honor the parts of myself that had big goals, big dreams, big visions, and desire for a career helping people. Desire for a relationship that was really fulfilling. Desire to meet lots of people and to have lots of fun in life because I had been hiding for so long. I had kind of talked myself out of that I could have a life like that. So much so that I'd really even shut off some of my dreams, but peeling back these layers had brought all of that stuff to the surface again. And I'll get more into peeling back the layers very soon. But I want to share something really fascinating that happened. When I fell in love with myself again, when I started to like who I was again, opportunities came to me. When I wasn't distracted by this anger and anxiety, opportunities unfolded for me. I was no longer hiding in my apartment. I was no longer choosing to be in these relationships, one in particular that was not serving me at all. And what happened was I started to want more for myself. And I'd always been a person who had lots of a big imagination and was excited about things and had ideas and had grand plans and grand schemes for creating things in my life, but I had turned that off when the anxiety came. I know that's kind of relatable, so I'm just taking a pause here because sometimes when we are operating from that place of anxiety, we're operating from that place of anger. We can get so caught in it that that is the only thing that we know that we can feel, that we can trust to feel. And so the other things kind of get pushed into the background. Having a wonderful relationship, having a successful business where I was helping people, having wonderful friendships. I had a few, but they weren't to the depth that I was able to go when I started to trust myself more. And as I peeled back these stories of the things that had caused my feelings of anxiety, I recognized that I still had confidence inside myself, that I was actually worthy of feeling wonderful. I was actually worthy of having the goals and the plans and the vision. Did some of those things change? Yes, they did. And for the better. Because I was actually able to tap into what was right for me. So I always count myself as my first success story in hypnosis because I did the work with my hypnotist to help myself go through past experiences where I had felt anxiety, where I'd felt moments of misunderstanding, and that had created stories in my mind about what was possible for me. So here's one thing that is very important for you to know. Anxiety, anger, depression, prolonged feelings like that, they are not the problem. They are actually the symptom. I'm going to say it again. Anxiety, anger or rage, and depression, they are the symptom. They are not actually the root of the problem. So a lot of times when people think about treating those feelings inside, they look at treating the feeling itself instead of the root of it. And what I learned very swiftly is that my past experiences, and this will be true for you too, our past experiences are the things that are like the gasoline that keep the feelings of anxiety going. When you neutralize the past experience, which is what we can do in hypnosis, which is what I did in my own hypnosis journey, neutralizing those experiences turns off the anxiety, the depression, and the frustration, the anger. Now, I know that's kind of wild. I've talked about this before, but I want you to really understand that the feeling that you feel as a result of the past trauma that you've had in your life is actually a symptom of the trauma. Now, you might think, oh, I don't have a lot of trauma in my life. Everyone has trauma. It may not be the kind of trauma that you see on the news, or you may not have been in a conflict in another country or a war zone or first responder, but everyone has their own levels of experiences that gave them a shift about what they believe in the world, what they believe about themselves, what they believe about the people around them, what they believe is possible for them, what they believe they deserve. Everyone has these moments. And I don't speak in absolutes very often, but everyone has experiences where life shifted just a little bit. And then if we have a collection of those experiences, we can shift just a little bit over and over and over again until we're moving in a direction that we don't want to be moving in. Often anxiety, depression, anger are rooted in the same experiences. And frankly, I don't give a flying fig about labeling any of these things. I label them so that you can kind of create some context around your own feelings, but we don't have to label any of it. Okay, so give yourself a breath. The coolest part about this is that in hypnosis, which I'm going to explain just a little bit about in a moment, you can actually go back to those past experiences, the ones that you can't get off your mind, the ones that you maybe have pushed away, the ones that you thought you had locked away, that if you just don't think about it, it doesn't seem to bother you so much. Those past experiences we can actually neutralize the physical, emotional, and behavioral responses of those simply by talking about them in hypnosis. What in the world? You know that feeling when something happens to you and you just want to go talk it out with your friends, or you want to journal it out and you just have to go over it and over it and over it in your mind? That's because your mind is trying to neutralize the experience. It's not possible to do it with the same amount of speed that you can do subconsciously. It's not possible to do that consciously with the same speed that you can do it in subconsciously. Now, what happens when you close your eyes to be in hypnosis? Yes, you just close your eyes, you don't go to sleep, and you focused your mind, you are in hypnosis. It is that simple. It is very quickly that we actually get you into the full body relaxation and into this slightly altered state of consciousness simply by closing your eyes, taking some breaths, relaxing your body, and focusing your mind. Hypnosis is a very weird looking word and a very mysterious looking word. And a lot of people equate it to things they've seen on stage hypnosis or at prom or something like that. But the way that we can do hypnosis for therapeutic reasons is very, very simple and effective. So I'll go into that hypnosis practice a little bit more in detail in the next episode, but I want to share with you that it's so powerful that when you go into your stories, your experiences, where you had those shifting moments in hypnosis, and you tell the story, you speak your truth, you validate the version of you that you were when the thing happened, you honor yourself, you honor the experience that you had, and the feelings in your body, the emotions that you feel throughout your body, that heaviness in your stomach, that tightness in your chest, the heart pounding, thoughts racing, tension on your shoulders, whatever the thing is, starts to dissolve. Take a moment and just think about that place in your body that you can't get that thing to move. That there's always like this heaviness on your chest, or there's always this tension in your stomach when you feel anxiety or anger or sadness. Those feelings can be dissolved simply by telling your story in hypnosis. And that's what I did. I told my story, multiple stories. I told the experiences of my life, and I felt the feelings that I couldn't feel, didn't understand to feel, didn't know to feel when they happened. And for most of us, when we are experiencing something traumatic, our body flips the switch and goes into survival mode. So emotions have to be capped off, pushed away, so we can survive the situation, or at least survive in the way that our subconscious mind wants us to survive. So taking the time to express yourself, to share the story with yourself, to speak your truth, as soon as you begin to do that and feel the emotion of that experience, your body starts to relax. The layers of the heaviness start to be peeled away. The layers of the tension, the layers of that edgy feeling, the layers of the tightness in the jaw or the lump in the throat or the pounding in the head, all of that stuff becomes neutralized. It fades away until it's at nothing and your body is completely relaxed. Now, the coolest part about this is that every single moment of our lives, our subconscious mind is trying to keep us safe. And what does safe mean to our subconscious mind? If you've been hanging around long enough, you know that safe to our subconscious mind means the same or the similar or predictable. It really loves being predictable. So every time we're in an experience where our emotions shift just a little bit, our subconscious mind is going back to past experiences and looking for a reference file so it can recreate the same emotional, physical, behavioral responses that it did the very first time, because if you're still alive, it worked. It kept you safe. And so, once again, looking for a way to predict this outcome, it will have us responding in the same way we did in those past experiences. Holy smokes. That's pretty huge, isn't it? To recognize that everything that you're doing right now is because of a link that it had, that your subconscious mind had to the past. And this is very frustrating for people because we think that we're operating from the present. But 90% or more of our responses, our behavioral responses, our emotional responses, our beliefs and our patterns are rooted in experiences that we had before we were age 3. And the stories that we told ourselves about the way the world is usually come into play and are locked into our mind before we are 8 years old. And then if we have experiences happening to us throughout our lives, they add to those stories. So imagine you're walking around as a full-fledged successful adult, right? You've got a lot of great things happening in your life. Pretty successful in your business. You're pretty successful with your family, your life. You know, things have been going pretty well. But you have these moments where you stop yourself from having what you want, where you don't quite believe that you can have things exactly as you want them. Or you have this sneaky anger that comes flooding into your body like a hot river. Or you have these moments where anxiety grips at you, distracts your thoughts. All of that is from the past. It's not from right now. So as you feel the feelings of those experiences, you have your emotions. While you're in your hypnosis session, these layers of anxiety, anger, frustration, these limiting beliefs get peeled away one by one. And that's exactly what happened to me. First session, the first day, the anxiety was different. I felt safer in my skin. First session of the second day, I couldn't believe the shift in how confident I felt about myself. I couldn't believe that I could change these things about myself. I couldn't believe that I could feel so free. And of course, this took place many sessions over several days. But the thing that I learned that was so valuable is that I didn't have to go to therapy for decades to make this go away. That I could make it go away in days and weeks, not years and decades. And that's what's possible for you too. Okay, so what happens when you begin to shift all those stories from your past? Your present has more hope, has more joy, has more excitement, has more openness, and has less distraction than ever before. If you want to get to your goals super fast, if you want to take a step and have it be a big step and take that big leap into your next level, the easiest way to do this is to clear the distractions of anger, anxiety, and depression from your past. Because once those things are free, once you're free from those, once you feel released from those feelings, then you can focus and actually be in the present. Because here's what's really cool. When those experiences are neutralized in those past experiences, when those feelings are neutralized from the past experiences, when your brain is looking for the familiar, it will try to go to those experiences and have you operate from the same way of that experience. But what will be in the file now? Confidence, peace, freedom, and self-love. Because one of the things that is so important to me is that wherever we clear out any darkness, wherever we clear out any heaviness, anxiety, sadness, fears, frustration, that we bring in so much love. We bring in so much self-worth. And we amplify your confidence. We amplify the part of you that understands that you can have and you can actually deserve the things that you want. So you're operating from those experiences now in a very different way. Those experiences being neutralized allows you to operate from the present. This is another practice that I'll share more about in an upcoming episode. But we retrain your brain to operate from the present instead of operating from the past. When it goes to those past experiences and those files are neutralized, you can come back to the present moment and make decisions from here. You can make decisions from here, and you can make decisions from the end of your goal. You can make decisions to operate based on the things that you want in life. With the version of me that has the relationship of my dreams, operate this way or this way. How would the version of me that has the business of my dreams be operating right now? These are the things that we can bring in and help you operate in such a way that you are helping yourself have your goals even faster than you thought possible. Everything accelerates in the most beautiful way. You get to have what you want, and you get to have it faster because you've cleared away these old stories, these old programs, these old paradigms that had you believing that you couldn't have it the way you wanted it, or that it was going to take a lot longer, or that you just had this massive distraction of the anxiety, the sadness, the heaviness, or the frustration. Okay, I know that's kind of mind-blowing because we think that we have to fight for our goals. We think that we have to work so hard. We have to make sure everything is perfect, especially those of us who have grown up trying to do everything for everyone. We think that we have to do that in order to have our goals. And that's simply not true. So imagine that you could go from maybe someone who's got some underlying anxiety, overgiving, overdoing, people-pleasing, got to get it right, got to get it perfect, it's got to be just right so I can have the success that I want, to, oh my gosh, I feel so freaking good. I feel free in my body, which allows me to not be distracted in my mind, so I can see my next steps, and I can do the things that are in alignment with my goals. It's so simple, but it feels so differently, doesn't it? The part of you that worries that you can't have what you want unless you do every single step perfectly, that part of you is operating from an old story. And there is a part of you living inside of you right now that knows that you can do things imperfectly, that you can be imperfect, and you can take steps and operate from the place where you want to be. You can operate in alignment with your goal, in alignment with who you'll be as you achieve that goal, and have it be so much easier than it's been. The truth is, success is harder to achieve. I said harder, not impossible, because nothing's impossible. It's harder to achieve when you're fighting anxiety. I know that. I've experienced that. And you probably know it too. It's harder to achieve your money goals when you're fighting your mind. It's harder to achieve your relationship goals when you're being distracted by anger and anxiety. It's harder to live in the present moment and think about your big vision and think about the path to get there and think about what you want to create when you're fighting your mind. I know firsthand that this is true because everything started to change when I cleared out this old gunk, the old anxiety and the old anger, and I found myself. And that's what I want for you. I have opened up 4 spots in my Elevated Leader program, which is a one-on-one virtual hypnosis program where you can unchain yourself from the anger, the anxiety, the frustration, the sadness, the limiting beliefs, the stories that you can't have what you want, and allow yourself to live free so you can achieve those big visions of yours, those big goals, and you can have them easier than you ever thought possible. You can find out more about that at RebeccaWiener.com. And there's a button that you can push on my website that says consultation, and you can schedule that, or you can go to callwithrebecca.com and schedule right there. So, what is your effective immediately moment of the week? Here we go. Anytime you feel a feeling that you don't feel is the most beneficial that you can feel, I don't want you to judge it. we've learned that judgment is unnecessary here, right? So I want you to look at it as a piece of data. And I want you to notice, am I operating from the present or am I operating from the past? Is this feeling in my body, is this story I'm telling myself from right now actually rooted in this present moment? Or is it something from the past? I want you to look at it with kindness and curiosity, being so loving with yourself. And I want you to ask, what if I change that story? What would be possible for me then? What if I change the story of the past? What if I change the way that I responded because of that experience of the past, and I let myself operate from the present moment? How would I feel then? Play with it. Allow yourself to practice being in the present moment and see what's possible for yourself. Have fun with it. Be kind to yourself. Don't put a ton of pressure on yourself about it, but just have fun with it and explore. If I wasn't operating from the past and I was operating from the present, how would I feel? What would I do? What would I believe? Let yourself experience it. Have fun and drink lots of water, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.